we're excited because we got, a couple new agents, couple different things, so we're continuing in, and it's neat because this is the second time through the Agent 101 series, right?
Oh, okay.
And every time we kind of tweaked it a little bit, made it a little bit better, it's taken on just a little different angle than the time prior. So tonight is kind of the culmination of the 9 weeks, and it basically boils down to, now that you know what you're supposed to be doing, let's fine tune what you like to do. We kind of come back to the niches several times. Not niches, but like the platform. Like, what is your tabletop? What are you going to have as the basics of your business, right? So, for example, we're starting off with, let's see, do we have a writer?
Well, you know what, here.
We have those boxes of new ones, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a couple on my desk I can go grab. Oh, this one's good. Cool. Okay,
Want the bright colors or black?
I'll just take whichever.
Well, we got bright colors and we have black.
Cool. Yeah, this red one actually looks pretty good too.
Alright, so you'll have
Throw away like 3 of them, really.
these should be fresh.
Yeah. Okay, so, for example, today, if you're going to be a realtor, what is probably the top source of places to get leads, for example?
People you know.
There you go. Your Sphere database, right? So let's write Sphere database. Okay. Now this will have its own process, right? Okay. So what would be the next, probably most popular, easy, predictable place to get leads and to make part of your business
People
today?
you kind of know.
Well, they'll all fall into that one.
What about like
So you
clerks
have
at the
your-
supermarket that you're friendly with and they know your first name?
Same thing. They're all the same thing.
They're in the sphere of influence?
Yeah, people you know, your database, things like that.
Okay.
So does that include like your CRM, for example, because open houses is a...
Open houses.
Okay.
People you don't know, getting out and holding open houses. So yeah, next to, that's the closest thing we have to a storefront. You know, as much as we want people to walk through the doors here, they won't.
Anymore,
You know.
open houses.
Yeah,
If you
okay,
throw
and
some
so,
parties, they will.
yeah, well, that's, holding open houses,
Your
that's one of
house.
the best things.
Are they
But-
still selling leads?
I mean,
Like lead prescription companies, like if you pay so much a year, they'd send you 50 leads a month or something.
well, that's what almost all of them, that's like what Zillow would do, for example. That's, yeah. They're, pretty much that's kind of leading into the next part. So the majority of places where people are getting leads today, i.e. like the brokerage, almost everywhere, is where?
Your CRM, so...
The internet.
Okay, yeah.
The
That's
internet.
what I think, I know
Everybody
you're
starts looking online. All right? So in one way, shape, or form, you need to have a presence online. Okay? And these are the 3 tried and true methods today that every agent can and should be using as like just the basics. Okay? What proportion you're holding each of them, that's up to you. But those are the 3 tried and true methods that anybody could walk in right now and start their business. If you're tackling everybody you know, acquaintances, you go through every single card you've ever had. I have a memory jogger of people that you can start writing lists of people down. And it has your grocery store, your dry cleaner, your accountant, you know, it talks about everything. And then you have your open houses. You can take almost any of them. Call any vacant home, and within 10 calls, you'll be able to hold an open house somewhere, right? So, that being said though, that leaves,
Farming.
well, anything else. Exactly. That's the point, is that you can do these. And you may or may not love these. Right now, as a new agent or any agent getting started, you should tackle these. And if you find a niche you love and it makes it so you don't have to do something you don't like, perfect. That's, you know, I happen to like door knocking. I just do. I find it very effective. I think I'm probably 1 out of 100 that might actually enjoy doing it.
I like knocking and running away, does that count?
If Exactly. So that's what
He needs my business card right away.
I know several people that
Or
went
put-
door knocking and
we
never
put rocks
knocked on the
on 'em
door.
They just put the door
Flyer in.
hanger.
Yeah. And it's like, well, did you get any responses? Well, no. It's like, you didn't get any? Did you talk to them? No. Did you actually knock on the door? No.
Was that
Well-
part of that?
Was I supposed to?
Exactly. It's just, people are silly. So,
It's
this
not
is.
hot, so you have to heat it up, okay? Sorry.
Um,
Should've made it fresh.
So when it comes to real estate today, these are the three that I would strongly recommend. Are they the only ones? Hands down, no. But for somebody to put their foot in the door, because we've got this tech for you, right? We got all the leads if you want, right? You, everybody, whether they know it or not, knows people. Or can know people, right? And then open houses, any agent can start off and hop on the MLS, find a neighborhood, and find an open house to do, right? So this is, really if it boils down to it, I'm trying to show how simple the basics of having a real estate business can be.
Right, good ways to start.
Yep, okay?
Before you start looking for every other single source out there and saying, how many people do have these leads?
Yep, exactly. So, your sphere and your database. To start off with, okay, this is like your 33 touch campaign. Okay, this is what we talked about last time, and we rounded it up to 36 touches, right? Now, the way this boils down to is 5% will move, and then 5% will give you a referral.
Now, was that in the distressed neighborhood or?
It's a standard neighborhood.
Oh,
You
okay.
figure your friends and family are valley-wide, so hopefully they're gonna fall under the averages.
So I was just thinking about
As a
last
whole.
time, we talked about taking over a particular neighborhood, making it your own.
Yeah.
Farm.
As a whole, this isn't necessarily a farm, it's your friends and family, which they can be in Mesa, they can be in Sun City, they can be in all kinds of different neighborhoods.
Oh, that's right, that last one had more to do with generating neighbors' interest.
Exactly,
Okay.
a specific neighborhood, which may or
Beside-
may not be good.
Besides getting an area set up.
Exactly,
That's
right?
right. Okay.
So that'll be over here, and you could choose to do a farm. I highly recommend it as part of somebody's niche, or if you're gonna be doing open houses, just combine the two.
Open
Do
to
it, you know, yeah, exactly, right?
It's true.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
see, the way that I figured we'll do it is, all together with food, you know, all of her friends, all of my friends, ask them to bring their friends. That's how I wanna do like a big introduction. There's another thing that's happening. I have a 50th elementary school reunion this month.
Wow,
I would love to send them
yeah. Yeah.
I'd love to send them like a little gift bag to get their attention. So
Yeah.
kind of like my business cards and like crappie-like things like this.
When
Well,
it comes to,
I don't
when
know
it
what-
comes to
I'd like
your,
to brainstorm that one.
Yeah,
Okay,
when it
we'll
comes to your
brainstorm
first-
that one.
it's the third breakthrough breakout training, right?
Huh?
Is that when I get into the mega open house, your grand opening?
Mhm.
Okay, the third breakthrough breakout training, I walk you through setting up a mega grand opening open house.
Okay.
And
Nice.
basically you choose either a friend or family that might be willing to sell their home, or you know, your first listing, or a great listing here, or we'll help you find one. And
Maryland's Mansion.
exactly. And you plan about 2 weeks ahead, and you do it right. You call like an escrow partner, because they'll help you out. If you want to do a nice one, they'll help you out with like wine or things like that, or cheese, or they'll even give you a gift card so you can have a drawing while you're there or something like that. You'll bring in the partners, and for your grand opening, you do it up, and you do actually. It's not just a random. We're gonna do an open house on
So we-
Saturday.
So we have a talk on that coming up.
Yeah.
It's nice
Yeah.
too with the partners because they are there, and so as people come through, say like you
Lender and
have a
escrow.
lender, you know, they have an
And you can
opportunity to
feature
ask
friends and
questions
family
Right.
too.
and find
I
out.
have a
yeah.
buddy that
Yeah,
does
that-
barbecue, and I've brought him into several, and it's been a win-win. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Okay, that's my line of
Okay.
Perfect.
nurturing people.
Yeah.
I feed them, I feed them, I feed them.
that's it.
I make blueberry pie.
Yes,
It's
you do.
really good,
and
by
it's
the way.
very good.
Okay, so your sphere and your database, right? Tonight we're going to kind of touch on fine-tuning these three so so that way you know exactly what you're going to do to kind of get started. But then I want to focus kind of on some ideas you guys actually have for these, okay? So your sphere, your database, 36 touches throughout the year, and your goal is 5% of them to move themselves, and then to get 5% of them to give you a referral, right? So throughout the year, that's basically, it boils down to 3 touches a month, okay? Now, right off the bat, okay, how often should you be calling your database?
Depending on their timing. If they're 3-monthers, you want to contact them like every 2 weeks. You don't want to contact them every day. If they're ready, willing, and able, daily.
Well, okay, so let's start it off generically from the very vague, okay? Your database as a whole is not necessarily going to be moving. So just in general, how often should you stay in contact with your database in general, not necessarily as the realtor, but just making sure that they don't forget about you being a realtor?
Monthly,
I'm gonna say every 2 weeks.
like a newsletter.
Okay, well, specifically calling them. How often should you call them?
Oh,
Every couple of weeks.
That often? About, I mean,
I would say
if you're
minimum
friends and
of
your
a month.
friends, that's one thing. Hey, Bob, let's go golfing or whatever it is. You know, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you have your acquaintances that, you know, how often are you going to stay in touch with your long-lost friend from...
like my neighbor that moved away that we still go and do things with.
Exactly. What is
That's what
it?
you're talking
Every
about.
couple months or so, like quarterly?
Well-
How often do you think you should follow up? Like no less than. We could always go more than, but like on the lowest end, what do you think?
Every quarter, every 3 months?
Like 4 calls a year would be the lowest, because this is just one of your prompts.
Yeah.
It's not everything, you know, it's going to be one. So no less than 4 calls a year, right? And it could definitely go up, quarterly calls,
Well,
okay?
I would think that would be visits.
You can do that too. Pop-bys, when it comes to your database, pop-bys are huge. If you're,
Popeyes?
that's what Brian
Pop-by.
Buffini, pop-by.
Pop by.
We're popping
Oh,
by your
oh,
house.
oh, I'm
Popeye.
sorry.
Like driving by.
Popeye the Sailor Man. Bring them spinach?
Exactly.
What are you doing, Josh?
Don't forget olive oil.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, they have their own acronyms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian Buffini, he's one of the more popular coaches here in real estate. He's the really popular, he's Irish, right? I think he's Irish. He's got an awesome accent. That's his thing. He's all about the social, I call him like the social butterfly. You have a lot of coaches available in our industry, and they all kind of hit on different personality types.
Okay.
Mike Ferry is very like, you're going to make calls, you're going to door knock, and if you don't like it, don't be a baby.
Okay.
That's it, you know, and he puts off a lot of people because he's just very blunt. Well, you're just a wuss. Why won't you do it? You know? And that's his thing. Then you have his son,
Sounds like an
Tom,
Italian from
who
New
learned
York.
not to be his dad. So Tom
more
is
laid
like,
back.
oh, hey buddy, how are you? You're
Okay.
so great, you know. I'm going to do this. Let's go have lunch, you know. That's
That's
Tom. He's like your social butterfly best friend.
Okay.
I'm going to stay in contact with you on so many different platforms, and we're just best friends. That's Tom. He was my coach, and my coach is actually, well, I just let him go, but I'm getting a new one hopefully soon. My coach actually started, he's owned 3 different brokerages, and he had one of the largest global banker brokerages in New York. They had hundreds of agents. They ended up doing over $1 billion in sales, and he ended up selling it, moving to Vegas, starting a Keller Williams brokerage there, and he's just awesome. But I love Tom. Like their atmosphere, their attitude, I like it. Right? It's more my speed. I did Mike Ferry for years. Brian Buffini, on the other hand, he is the epitome of being the friend. Like, I'm going to pop by, like, you actually schedule how many people are going to do this week. Like, that's part of their business plan. I'm going to swing by 4 of my past clients. I'm going to go by 2 of my really good friends. This lady I'm cultivating, I'm going to bring her a pie, or something like that. It seems like perfect for you. You know, if you're the social butterfly, like visiting people and stuff, Brian Buffini
And
is
inviting them
awesome.
to things all the time.
Yep. Yeah.
Phil Hartman built a career playing that kind of character. Always helpful, always there.
Yeah.
Always smiling.
Yeah. Phil. Yeah. He was great. Loved him. Yeah, just this week was hard. I watched the Robin Williams Step Inside My Mind, his documentary, after, and they were talking a lot about like Phil and a bunch of
friends and
Yeah.
people.
Just
Yeah, I like
Comes up once in a while.
Motown.
yeah. Well, Philly is
I
just so
like
hard
Motown
because his
50s
wife, man, it was just
reunion.
bad. Like he was a genius. Seriously, one of the best.
All right.
We lost
Yeah.
Chewbacca.
Oh, so all right. Good news.
Okay.
Good news. Two of my friends had babies this week.
Hey, congratulations.
Okay, so no less than 4 calls. If you're comfortable, I would say twice a month. If you can, and if you have a reason to, you will get them every which way. So if you can do that every 2 weeks for your real ones, and you're going to find that Brian Buffini, he actually has even the scale where you have your real ones, your outside ones, your further ones, and so you're going to have, I forget how he labels them, but these are your like triple
Regular,
A,
yeah.
these are the ones that you live for, because they're going to not only buy a home, but they're going to refer you like 3 people a year. And then you have like your double A's and your A and then your B, and they work out to people that may do a sale with you once every 10 years, and that's kind of how you focus on them, because no matter how hard you try, they'll never be more.
I agree
You know?
with that. Mine is color-coded, very similar.
Well,
Yeah.
may I ask you this?
Yeah.
So like, hitting people that you've known all of your life, like people that I grew up with, because that's really who I'm in touch with.
Yeah.
Like we're doing a 50th elementary school. In September, we're doing Teenagers for Action reunion. It's going to be over 2 days and probably 1,000 people.
That was a huge youth group that
I have a
was
huge
started by the
fear
church.
in
A lot of people
California.
went.
Really?
And I want to be prepared to have something for them all too.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well,
So we can look with that.
as
Look
it
at
gets
what
closer.
we can do on that. May I've got to get something out.
Okay.
The reunion's on the 18th.
Yeah.
May?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's plan your schedule out. That one's coming
I'm
up
not going
really
because I
quick.
started this job.
Yeah. So let's figure out. Let's do your schedule, like what you have coming up, and what we would want to do things for, and let's figure out what the best topics would be.
Okay,
And then
great, thank you,
hopefully-
I'm sorry for interrupting, but it's.
No, that's perfect, yeah.
Ideas come out of this
Totally.
stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Because you have. That's the whole thing that you want to schedule to master your database. Figure out your 3 things, no less than per month. If it's a call, a pop-by, and an event. Boom, you just did it. And now you're going to have all your invitations for your events, your phone calls checking in with people. You have all these other
Maybe
reasons
your
to follow up.
flyers door to door.
Yeah.
Oh,
See?
believe me.
And you have your
Everyone
holidays.
needs
I mean,
something.
with friends and
Everybody
family,
needs
like that was one of
things.
like Sandy's one of her things is every holiday she would pop by her. She focused on she lived in like a little community of what are they called?
Cadia?
Gemini homes. Yeah, the town
yeah.
twin homes or whatever you want to call them. And her community had I think about 100 total
Yeah.
in her
Wasn't very
community.
big, yeah.
So she just owned it.
She
And-
owned it, she was
And
the only one there.
and every holiday she would drop baskets off. Every Christmas baskets, New Year. I mean, she would own every holiday and actually do cool things and hand them out to everybody. And then when she would do an open house,
Yeah,
and then
she's the flower lady.
what was it? Quarterly. Yeah,
Some
quarterly.
flowers.
Yeah. She attached them to all of her cards and would just hand
Nice.
them out to people. And then quarterly she did an event for her community. And that was their no, it was Monday monthly munchies.
Yes.
Wow.
That was it.
Yeah.
Every Monday, the first Monday of every month, she did a munchie event. Yeah,
Well,
Is it at her
I
house
have
or
friends
something?
that have taco trucks
For her.
and bring their produce to flea markets and stuff like that. Are those viable sources of?
food trucks are huge.
Really?
Yes, people love food trucks. But if you only need to bring one. I mean, here's the hard part. If you can do an event, okay, and for example, it takes a village to make these things really popular. Like a progressive meal, for example. Okay, so somebody just did this the other day, but for example, a food truck would have
Appetizers at this address, entree
Oh,
at this
exactly.
address, dessert at this
That's where it
address.
becomes a
See-
real community.
tell me about that.
Yeah, something like that, right? And if you could get 3 different agents and 3 different homes involved, you're gonna get that many more people involved and out to that many more.
I can
With
do that in
one-
my neighborhood, I've got 3 vacancies.
Well, see,
Yeah,
the
well,
thing
there you
that's
go.
cool with this
Yeah.
is if you have like the regular neighborhood, it's almost like, if Michelle was at one home, Brooke was at another home, and you were at another home, all within like that neighborhood, it's like how cool to make that an
Yeah,
event.
Yeah. Hey, if you think these appetizers are good, wait till you see what my mom does over in,
Yeah.
in over on
exactly,
Escudo.
exactly.
It's just down the block, and then they're there,
Yes.
they go, wait until you taste Grammy's desserts, you gotta get over to blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah.
uh-huh.
And then
Exactly.
we just made a wonderful set.
So,
Yeah,
it-
you get the people through their time.
That's it.
The opportunities of what we can do are absolutely endless.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, once you do one, you don't need to ditch it. If it worked, do it again in a few months. You don't need to recreate
Well,
the wheel
I know
every
that
single
just
time.
between,
That's the problem.
Yeah, the
here,
first one's the hardest.
just between here locally, we have a lot of friends.
Well,
So,
one of the
and
gals.
if we invite our
yeah.
friends to bring a friend,
Mhm.
that's a huge
Absolutely.
party.
Absolutely.
So if you're are you talking about your area specifically, or are you
No,
talking
I'm
about
just talking about friends.
Friends, perfect. Okay, so when it comes to your friends, the other thing your database, and this also works too if you're going to be doing like a farm or something like that. Your friends and family, if they own a home, okay, set up a portal for them. Okay? And the portal, you can keep them updated on their comps. Okay? And one of the greatest things, so, and it'll work for you, which is one of the, if you can automate things to just stay in contact for you, it frees you up to have fun with the events and things like that. Right?
Right, and it might even bring up conversation when you get there. They could say, hey, so Sam's going for $4.59? You know?
Exactly. Yep.
Keep
Okay.
them informed, and a smarter client is a better client.
Exactly. So your okay. Why is it saying I don't have internet?
Because it's not. It booted out again.
There we go. Okay, now
Do you
we're on.
have allergies too?
Oh, it's like all of a sudden.
That's terrible.
Right now, yeah, they said it on the news. It's the Cabo Verdes dropping all those yellow balls.
Oh,
It's unseasonal.
My neighbor
Nuclear
basically
winter.
rained. Like I have a yellow ground on my.
On the side.
Oh.
Oh,
yeah,
your rocks,
from the
yeah.
trees.
And soon you'll have little sprouts.
So here's one thing that if you attend some of the MLS trainings that I forget the gentleman, the two guys that do the specific ones, but they talk about a variation of this. Any past client, friend and family, anybody you know that owns a home and you know where it is, okay? Set up the comps for them. So simply stated, active, pending, closed, right? And right here, when you see all the select date ranges, oh, sorry. Helps if I put that up so you can see what I'm doing.
Do it again. Oh, there we go.
Connect on, go. I wonder how we could switch that. I think I bought a Spanish one. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't set it to Spanish.
so
It just-
maybe
it's
you're
always
trying
been-
to learn.
That's okay,
I used to watch Telemundo to learn.
It's not bad.
So select the date range, okay? Here is what is really, really cool because you can actually do it this way, or
Go down two.
you got off market date, okay? And when you do these, you can go here, not between, or you got the calendar, but what was the, it was up here, you do the 30 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where was it again?
Expiration, no, let's see,
It was off market, close of escrow date.
what's it,
I'm being silly now, what was it?
I don't think it was
Well,
there,
off
but-
market date would show you all those that closed, right?
It was,
Or expired.
no, it was, oh man, I'm total brain fart.
I'm
What is
sorry.
going on here?
You said past clients do their comps.
Yeah, no, there's a way to, I'm totally being a doofus right now and I'm gonna kick myself. Okay,
Because you were going to show us
You-
a trip.
How to get a time-specific range.
okay, you got your closed, and so you got your close of escrow date, and then you go here, there it is, thank So this way, it will always keep them current with whatever has sold in the last 90 days.
Okay.
It is a 100% current comp for their neighborhood, always.
Till the end of the year when it almost goes away.
It'll always just stay 90 days back.
Oh, okay.
And so it'll keep them updated with all the sales for the last 90 days.
Oh, so when we do close, when we run it closed, it'll just bring in forever 90 days, 90 days. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for example, if you have, let's just choose like Arrowhead Ranch, for example, right? Okay, so we picked active, you can pick active, pending, and closed if you want, right? And that way it'll give them the whole thing, but then it'll also keep them updated with what have closed in the last 90 days. And the 90 days is just a revolving 90 days, so 90 days from today, tomorrow, the next day, the next day.
Right, so it's a true 90 days.
Yep. As opposed to, everything that's sold since November 2012.
Yes.
Right.
So
Yes.
literally, there
But
you go.
it's constantly up to date.
It's always 90 days. Yeah, right? And so they will always see, and it keeps them, something like this is really exciting and keeps them relevant. And then you just save it,
And send it to them.
and you could create a portal for them. And it'll literally update them every single time something new sells in their neighborhood and everything else. Yeah.
Oh,
I know how to do
nice.
that, yeah.
But the key is to set it
But
to
thank
off
you.
market within 90 days or 6 months, whatever it is.
Yeah, 90 days, because they'll be looking for that fresh information.
Yep.
That fresh information will get them going.
Yep. So you have your
So that
events.
you don't have to adjust it every single time you do it.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, that's a good trick.
Yeah, every past client, every friend and family, absolutely. Okay, so you have your quarterly phone calls or your monthly phone calls. If you can do the 12, there you go. You just got, boom, 12 contacts if you're 36. If you do a monthly event, there's another 12. So you have 24 done, right? You set up your comps, there you go. You have another 12 there. So you can see how these things will stack up if you have a plan.
Yeah.
Right? And you just get to fulfill your plan, and you know it's going to work because you're doing it, right? So, okay, so you got your calls, your touches, we got our open houses. You can see how you can have fun with your sphere and your database because you know these people. Have fun with it. Every year, I'm gonna fortunately we're running out of time this year again. Starting next year, or if we can pull it off this year, around August, September-y, when it starts to cool down, I would love to do a client appreciation event for all of our past clients here at Breakthrough.
Nice.
And do it like at Squirrel Ranch Park or something like that, right? And that's something I would love to do as a whole.
That'd be cool.
So hopefully that'll be one of them starting. Okay, so any questions on the Sphere database as far as your
Well, yeah, let's
niche
go more
plan?
no, not on the Sphere database.
Okay. So the next one to tackle would be the open houses. We kind of did a lot of those last week, talking about just how to choose a farm, how to find a house,
And
the ones
also
to choose.
how it multiplies. I believe that's in this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you stay up and
I
just
read this
do
whole
your
thing.
follow-up like you're supposed to, it really adds up. That's awesome. Okay, so open houses. Just one open house a week, averaging the 5, you will get more sales than than most agents. I mean, you will literally have a career's worth. But the key is, it's not just the open house. The open house is the event. The majority of open house is your follow-up plan afterward.
Because it's taking all of those people that came through, like putting them into real geeks and setting up your regular follow-ups.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your average person that comes into an open house, how long before they actually buy their home on average or sell their home?
3 to 6 months.
If they're buying, they're quicker. That's they're on the 60 to 90 days. If they're buyers, that's the 90 thing. That's
If they're looking, they're cooking.
if at open
If
houses,
they're found in the ground.
yes,
Okay.
exactly. And on the flip side, if the neighbors come in, yes, they're about 6
They're
months
just
out
fishing.
from selling, probably. Okay. So anybody that comes through your door, they are prime candidates, and that's why they're gonna 1 out of every 20, and that's actually rounding up. It's actually more like 1 out of 17, 18 people that sign in
Now-
turns into a sale. Okay.
So you've been doing open houses lately?
I do them always for all my listings, always.
Well, all your listing. I'm talking about have you been doing them regularly?
Well, I hopefully always have listings, so yes.
Okay.
He's never been
So
without a listing.
what's the turnout been like for you lately? Because sometimes I'm pounded and, and sometimes
thing.
I could
Yeah.
Up
sit,
and down, still.
I
Yep.
needed a TV.
Yeah. Well,
So
this last
is
one,
it still like that?
it's hit or
It's
miss.
gonna be like that?
And that's where they will always be like that, unfortunately. There's
Okay.
ways to stack the deck in your favor to guarantee.
By free advertising it?
Well, and tackling everything on that front, but you will always, you'll never be able to predict it, unfortunately.
You won't know
I
how many
could've
show
sworn-
up till after.
I could have sworn last week I was going to have 10 people through, and I ended up having 2. You know, I was shocked.
2 good ones?
They were actually, well, one was really, really good. The second one wasn't bad, but the one, you never know. It only takes the one. So,
Yeah.
Well,
but I'm right off of 24th Street. And I thought that was going to be a selling point, but I guess the fact that people saw the house from 24th Street were like, no. I actually
It's
had
on the
people
street.
park and then drive away.
Ah.
You're sitting there like, yeah. Aww. Like it was. So it will happen, but. If you 2 is 2, that is 2 more on your way to the 20. You know, for every one that you have none, you'll have one that has 7 or 8. Okay, and if you average them out, they should average about 4 or 5 sign-ins per open house. That's the goal. Okay, if you can do more, wonderful. And that's where also being able to pick and choose your listings helps. This one here, it's higher priced, and it's honestly it's on one of those shared driveways, which it's got a couple things going against it. You know?
Yeah.
So if it were up to me, and if I was going to choose an open house on my own, this wouldn't be the one I choose.
right.
You know? So that's the other benefit. Okay, so when it comes to the open houses, have your plan up front to try to get as many people through the door. And then number 2, having your follow-up plan afterward. You can hold 30,000 open houses, but if you don't follow up with anybody who came through, you're never going to make a sale.
All you did was have open houses.
And you kept yourself busy. Picking up signs, keeping exercise, getting those steps in. So that is the catch there. So normally what a lot of people recommend doing is before you even leave, send a thank you, right? Before you leave, hop on your phone and send them a thank you video. Is very popular right now. And what's neat about that is, like, you could pop on and for example, like, I love it to take notes. Okay, so like, here we go. Just pretend. Hey, Susan, Rick, thank you so much for coming by the open house. It was a pleasure meeting you and your family. You know, you seem to really like the fact that this had that Jack and Jill bathroom. So I could just, you know, when your kids walked in and they were already picking their bedrooms, it was so cute. So if you guys want another tour or anything, don't hesitate to give me a call. And by the way, you said you had a lab. Do you think that lab would love that backyard? It had a little bit of grass. And it takes notes, right? So you actually get to you remember who they were and why.
Are you doing talk to
Right.
text?
Because
I was
that's
just
the
in a
other
video.
thing.
Saying,
Oh.
that's
The other thing
that's
when
great,
people-
because I
yeah.
was telling Josh, and you too, when I saw that many homes, I couldn't remember one from another, and when I see that many people, it's gonna happen the same thing.
And so what
So I
I do.
really like
yes,
that,
Uh-huh.
instead of
On the
writing your
list,
notes,
on-
because even writing a note to them doesn't identify your face to theirs.
Exactly. That little video does that little extra bit. And if you can keep it to 30 seconds, you have a memory, they see you, and it can send. Like, you can text that to people.
But the
Yeah.
other thing that I do is when they actually sign in, is I write little notes there so that when I am doing a video, like you said, when I do so many, I can't remember who was what. And so I purposely write a little note so that when I'm doing my follow-up, you know, it sets them apart, and then whether it's the email, haven't done the video, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, thank you for remembering my son Tyler.
Yep.
It's like,
For people that are terrible with names like me, it's perfect.
okay.
Yep.
Yep, that's a
Me
great
too.
idea.
I called him, what was I calling you, Jeff?
Brad?
John.
John, I think, yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
get
got-
Brad and John quite.
I kept calling him John for like about
So-
a couple weeks, and he goes, "It's okay,
Possibilities.
but my name is Josh." But that's okay. Somebody else calls me Gus.
One of my favorite people in the world. Yeah.
I really like that idea.
Well, it's like remembering you and Michelle. I have to remember that you're Marilyn and she's Michelle. That she's not Marilyn and you're not Michelle.
M&M. Okay, so open houses, having that immediate follow-up plan. So if you can make the call, send that video right off the bat. That's one of the greatest things you can do, okay? And then one of the next natural things is during your whole conversation, I'm trying to find out what they are really wanting. And you know, when somebody walks through your open house, most of the time they don't know the home. They may have seen the signs and they have no clue how big, what the price is, nothing, right? They might have seen it on a website. And how often do agents take wonderful pictures of horrible homes and horrible pictures of beautiful homes?
A lot.
That's exactly what I tell them. I said, you know what, you gotta try the house on for size. You gotta see it, you gotta smell it, you gotta be in it.
Yep.
And another thing I recommend to clients is if you're just serious about this area, go to the supermarket. Everybody eats.
Yep, exactly, good call. So my whole thing is I'm trying to find out what they really are looking for, because if this home fits their criteria, wonderful. The likelihood of that happening, very small, right? So I'm trying to find, oh, what is it about this home that you like? What didn't you like? What are you looking for? Pool, sizes, 2-story, 1-story, price range,
Cool.
area, so you can try to set up a portal for them. Rather than attacking them when they first walk through the door, hey, my name's Josh, please sign in if you don't mind. You know, it's like, ooh, I'm just looking, you know, like back off.
Yeah.
You know, I come up and just with a bottle of water. Hey, thank you for coming by. My name's Josh. You know, here's a bottle of water if you guys want. And then I just kind of hit back, you know. So, did you guys see the signs? You know, what was it that made you pop on by? Or, hey, my name's Josh, you know, and I'll just say hi. I don't ask them anything at that moment. It's just, I'm just getting to know these people, right? And then, would you guys like to take a, you know, would you like for me to give you a tour, or would you like to kind of walk around yourself? Oftentimes they'll say, we'll just look around for a little bit. Perfect, okay? I'll leave for about a second or two, and then I'll come back either with, if I didn't have a bottle of water, I'll have a bottle of water at that point. Hey, here, have a bottle of water. I'm all about just making them feel at home at that moment. I'm not asking them what they're looking for when they're, you know, like I'm feeling them out in this process,
Yeah.
right?
See if they're going to stay long enough to talk to them.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to like, okay, so, you know, like instantly sizing them up. Like, why are you here? You
don't want
know?
to make them funny about staying and talking.
Exactly. So after about a couple minutes, once they started walking through, oh, so what do you guys think? You know, and then we start talking from there. I really don't ask for anything until the very end. And I'm either going to say, by the way, would you mind signing in? Or, hey, you know what, this home really doesn't seem to be exactly what you're looking for. How about we sit down and take a look at some other ones? I think I might be able to find some stuff that really fits your criteria. And instead of having them sign in over here, something that doesn't make sense, I just set them up with a portal right then and there.
Yeah, it takes care of both at once.
Yeah, and how often when you're looking at homes, by the way, you seem to really like this one. Are you guys free afterward? I'm done here at 3, you know? And it's a process for me, and it's all about the end. It's not the beginning, which is where I think a lot of people put people off when they come into an open house.
They don't make it as inviting as they could.
Yeah.
Just relaxed. And a place where people can safely look at a place and start to see what they think.
Yeah.
Then ask questions.
Yeah. And I had a couple people comment about some other agents not actually talking to them and just following them around the entire time. You know. Yeah, so you definitely want to try to make them feel at home.
Yeah,
you know?
social anxiety will do that.
Yes, yeah. It's so funny how we don't realize.
Shyest agent in the world.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not, I have a tendency, because I'm friendly, I think I come on strong. And it's like, I
Really?
don't
I haven't
realize
seen
how
that yet.
over.
Well, it's
Talk
tough.
about someone coming on strong, your sister Rose is some kind of agent.
I think she was adopted.
Oh my gosh. She tells you what to do, I don't care what, that's her personality, so
Yeah.
I can't even understand her being an agent, but yeah.
A lot of agents fall the victim of, we want to be useful, we want to show we're important, we want to show that we are worthy of whatever it is. And I think that's why we come on so strong sometimes, because we want to show that we know what we're talking about. That, you know,
You strike me as a good team on a lot of levels.
I really
What's that?
considered it.
You strike me as a good
privilege
team
and
on a
honor
lot
to
of
have a
levels. I mean, you
license.
seem to have a lot of knowledge backing up what you're talking about. You're good at talking
I
about it.
protect my practice
You
because
make
I
it easy
believe
to
that that's
listen to
who I
you.
am.
Oh.
You're good
I
with
think that.
people being in your
Am
presence.
I coming across like maybe
I'm real
because I'm
comfortable
trying
coming
to
here
prove myself?
and
Because
find
if
all
I
of this
know who
interesting,
I
even
am,
though I'm not as
then
deeply into it as
I
any
don't
of you.
have to really.
Yeah.
Probably never will be,
Uh,
for various reasons, but I am interested.
yeah, cool. That's awesome. We're so happy. Like,
So, I mean, I like happy dynamics that work and produce results without, you know, and egos overshadowing each other or just, you know, doing things that, you know, the client might not like, but you're gonna do them anyway. You know, the attitudes like that, I know how to work around that and make things better.
yeah. That's
He's a
cool.
very good judge of character too.
Oh,
Because I'm not. I just
Right.
expect everyone to be like me.
Yeah. Marty, the teacher lady, she has the maturity of being able to help people on, like, in my opinion, the fullest level, where she will just provide service and her clients probably won't even know what all she did, and she doesn't feel the need that they need to know that she even went above and beyond.
Right, she don't have to info dump everything that went into it.
It's just, yeah, and it was her just doing it, and she's like, no, would it have made a difference if I told them that it ruined my day? No,
No,
they
it
got
take
got
longer.
their home, they walked away happy.
Yeah.
That was what was important, you know. And it's like being able to suck it up for that, you know, where it's them. That's the thing.
Yeah,
And-
knowing what's important.
yeah, and so that I'm really trying to have more of that, you know, like that eager willingness right up front, no matter what. You know, it doesn't matter if you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to a horrible phone call. It's still, oh, good morning, how are you? You know, like that.
Yeah, I started.
Yeah. So, okay, so when it comes to the open houses, right, it starts off right then and there. If you can do that thank you video right off the bat, it will set you aside from so many other people. And then next thing you know, if you set them up with a portal there too, you have your follow-up, and it's going to keep them updated. And you have
I've
something
always
of
used
value.
that. Always.
Perfect.
It was the greatest thing about MLS.
Yeah. So after the portal then, and let's say they took off, okay? What is your next play when it comes to the open house then? Because you have your thank you, and then hopefully they're going to be getting some updates to their portal. Okay, so what are you going to do for the next 60, 90 days on top of that?
You're going to contact them by phone, by text, and by email, and you're also going to be able to see what they're looking at. And if they put a heart next to it, you invite them to go see it that same day.
That's perfect. Yes. So you're going to have to make that judgment call because these people you have made contact with.
Right.
So
these people,
you're
yeah.
not starting from scratch. So you're not doing that 6 calls to try to make contact. You're now taking over from the 6th call, trying to make that sale, that
Action.
connection. Yes, exactly. So I would say at least 6 more calls, at least in the next 60, you know. The general rule, what's the general rule if somebody says, oh, we're going to buy our home in 6 months, okay, or 3 months? What is the general rule when it comes to follow-up and timelines?
It says, I didn't write it down. If they're looking and cooking, they're gonna buy in the next 30 to 90 days. The neighbors only buy in the next 6 months. But I didn't write how many
Did you
times
say
to
buy or
contact
sell,
them.
the neighbor?
Well, the neighbors who come by, they'll probably look
So
at
it's
sell in
one
the next 6
time a
months.
month,
That's
it's
all.
once a month, like a newsletter, right?
Yep. Well, okay,
Now,
yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Or the whole 3 things.
If it comes to somebody saying we're gonna probably buy our new home in 6 months, call them within 3. If they say we're gonna be buying within 3, you know, check in within a month and a half. If they say we're gonna be buying in a month, call them in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay? Whatever they say, cut it in half. That's the rule, the general
Okay,
rule for
that's a
follow-up.
That's easy
good
to
rule of
remember.
thumb.
Okay? So if they say we're 90 days out, make sure you have followed up with them within 45 days. Okay? And keep your plan going from there. You know, you don't want to hassle them if they say 6 months out. Call them in 2 weeks. How you looking? You know?
Okay. Still thinking about 5.5 months?
Exactly. It's been 24 hours. Still on track?
Yeah. Getting down to the 5-month mark.
Yeah. So that all makes sense. Perfect. Okay.
Makes
so,
sense.
And then from there, it's really just up to you because there's not much else. You know, if you're keeping them on the portal, you see their homes, you're inviting them to take a look, you're checking in, you're sending them emails. I mean, what else? You know, that's pretty good. That's why open houses are wonderful. Okay, so next is the fun one, the internet. Okay, and this is where we're gonna spend some time before we tackle the final niches. Your internet plan. Okay, you already have leads, and these are a different ball game because this is the world we live in today. And this is what I really want to stress about the niche of the internet because it sucks. Okay? This is why most people think internet leads suck or our leads suck or whoever it might be because it's just the fact of the internet, unfortunately. Okay. So, when we say, and I'm squeaking, when we say your average internet lead converts at a 3% ratio, what does that truly mean?
That means you have to have 300 to get 3.
Well, 100 leads, you should get 3 sales.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay?
100 leads.
So for every 100 leads, 3 sales. That also means 97 out of 100 are going to be crap.
Okay, so get ready for crap too.
There
Thank you
you
very
go.
much for the advice.
Okay? So you're gonna weed through 97 of them. Okay? You can figure and let's say we're gonna be the best team in the country today. They are converting at about an 11% ratio. Okay? That's the top Zillow, or I think it's the top Zillow team in the country right now.
That's
Okay.
11.1 out of 100.
11% in general.
Okay.
Okay? So 11 out of 100. Okay?
Very good.
The national average when it comes to Facebook is somewhere between 1 and 3%. Okay? So, what this means is that of the 100 leads, okay, 10 of them, hopefully good, cultivating, okay, you're going to have probably another 10 you've made contact with that are in your pipeline. Okay, there's probably going to be
You
20.
mean good, meaning valid?
They're ready to go sometime in the next 3 to 6
they're
months.
pre-approved and
Yeah, but who knows? Because a lot of
Good to
those
go.
will never actually pull the trigger.
Right.
But 10 of
But
them
they're
are
ready
going
to
to
go.
say, we're ready to go, we're looking, we're ready. And you're going to go for those. You have 10 of them that you're going to make contact with that are going to be 6 to 12 months out, and those are going to be your pipeline. Okay? 25 of them will probably never answer a call. 25 of them are probably bad information. And just keep going from there.
Down.
Right? So, this is what you're dealing with. Not only that, but how many calls did we say takes to get 80% chance of contact?
Oh, I don't remember.
6 calls. At the 6 call mark, you've given yourself an 80% chance of making contact. Okay? Your average agent only calls a lead total 2 to 3 times. Okay? So if it takes 6 calls to give you an 80% chance, what percent chance do you think your 2 calls had?
Oh my
Nothing.
gosh, probably.
They're not finishing.
Exactly. Right? You're putting a lot of weight on 2 phone calls.
It's like having an open house and then going out of business.
Yeah. Yeah. You have like 100 people through. Well, that was a big waste of time. Road's closed.
Yeah.
We're leaving. And so that's the thing, okay? So it is about scheduling your time, knowing what to expect, and just making sure you are putting in the numbers to give yourself the successes, okay? So let's break this down, and what makes it nice is that these, okay? So let's say you have your 100 leads, okay? So you're gonna call, say 20 a day, all right? So you're gonna go through, every week you're gonna go through 100 leads, okay? These 25 bad numbers, boom, we're gonna be able to get rid of immediately and swap them out for 25 more leads that hopefully have some valid information. So of this next batch, you're hopefully gonna keep 2 or 3 more and then get rid of those. And then you're gonna keep 2 or 3 more of those and bring in another batch.
Yeah, before I
you know?
delete them, I am gonna run that by you before I get rid of them after, if they're bad
Yeah,
or
that's
whatever.
what
If the general rule when it comes to those is no news is no news, okay? So if they never answer, that's just no news. We can't make any judgments, and I could give you a bunch of stories on this one.
So it's just
My-
a waste of time then.
My record is 1,300 days. A lady never returned a phone call. It was 1,290 some odd days. It wasn't quite 1,300. She would log onto the website. I would see. It was one of those things. If you saw them being active,
Right.
they're being active. So if they never answer my call, at least I know that they're still there. If they've only logged on once and they've never come back for a year, then heck yeah, get rid of them. But if you see them coming back regularly, it's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep following up, keep following up.
Right.
I mean, we're talking hundreds of calls, hundreds of emails, and I think this was prior to texting really, so I probably didn't send
And
her
then
many.
all of a sudden,
She called me in town. She's like, Josh, we're in town this weekend, we wanna see some homes. Went home that weekend, not with that home, but they ended up getting a home. 1,200 and I think it was 96 days, right?
And they what?
They bought.
That's great.
They literally called me at like 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning. It was one of the funniest
So they
calls.
just expected you to be there because you have always been there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, 7 o'clock on a
Nice.
Saturday morning, Josh, we're in town, we're going to take a look at some homes.
That's a happy story.
But never, and I wish I had the screenshots from Tiger to show this. Because yeah, it was insane. But that was one. So no news is no news. They will call you when they're ready. If they're never ready, they will never call you.
Right.
But that's the numbers, okay? So create a rule for yourself. If it's like, if they go 6 months without ever coming back to our website, get rid of them. You know, just don't base it on they haven't responded. That is not a valid response. If they say take me off your list, okay. If they bad information, okay. And you know, whatever on that level, they checked out one thing and never came back, absolutely, right? Okay, so out of these, the goal would be, for example, you make 20 calls a day, okay, that would take about an hour, all right, 20 calls a day, that's 100 calls a week, okay, at the end of, let's say, 50 weeks, okay, so that's 5,000 calls, okay. Now, if you're going to convert, it's amazing how the numbers work out. If you're a math person, you can actually run it several different ways and find out. It's all going to come back to the same.
Yeah.
So you can take your 5,000 calls and you can take it to the amount of sales. Okay, so let's say we know that it takes 12 calls for your average sale. Okay, so let's say 5,000. 5,000 calls divided by 12, and then we'll take that times your 3%. That would be 12 and a half sales.
so do that again?
Okay, so let's say you make 20 calls a week, or 20 calls a day,
Okay.
so that's 100 calls a week, okay?
Mhm.
Times
5200.
50 weeks, you're gonna
Okay,
take 2 weeks
alright,
off hopefully,
alright.
so that's 5,000 calls a year,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
We know that your average sale happens at about the 12th call, right? So let's divide that by 12. That means you could have a total of about 400 leads, okay? And if you can convert at least 3% of them, that would be 12 and a half sales.
That's good.
Yeah, the numbers make sense and they verify themselves every which way. It's really interesting.
All right, yeah.
Between the 3%, the 12 calls, it all kind of adds up. It's kind of cool. So that's the goal with that. So just know you're going to be making 20 calls for 1 or 2 good ones per day. All right?
Right, that's good because you give us the advice that will not let us get discouraged because in some other, they just pound you to make the calls,
Yep.
right? They just make your calls, make your calls, make your calls.
No,
They're
it's
not
okay.
even giving any guidance, it's just like,
Right, nothing about what to expect from various
But
types of
don't you
people you
have-
call,
so
nothing
it's
about
not
what
just
to
the
tell,
calls because
you know, how to
have
answer your
this and
questions.
you have this. It's like I'm not just stuck
That's where
on
when you
one
get
thing.
cussed out, take me off your list. Heck yeah. we're on our way to a good one now. We just got the cuss out. You know, that's how we need to be. And for us to make calls together, like if you're in a room with Mom and Fred and everybody's making calls, or me, it just creates that better atmosphere where if somebody is down or you get, how many 12 calls?
I got my one bad one, now I'm to the good one.
Yeah, you can ruin the atmosphere.
See, and it helps to keep people motivated. So whatever you guys need on that level, because this is the most systematized thing. We can provide leads up the wazoo if you guys know how to follow up with them. And if you can, there are people, for example, Rovi on a dialer, she can do a triple line dialer and she can make 1,000 calls a day. Okay? Because you figure most people don't answer. So she can call 3 people at once, and the one that does answer will automatically get funneled to her because she's just leaving messages on everybody else. So.
And automated messages, I'm sure.
There's ways to go about that. There's means to do everything.
Okay.
But hypothetically speaking, this is you making single 20 calls per hour, okay? And that's just 1 hour a day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you want to make calls for 4 hours a day using a triple line dialer, you can make 50 sales a year, right? It's all about just how to maximize that system. Okay, and then you put them on the follow-ups. So just make sure you're getting in those 6 calls over the next month, etc.
But the idea too is as much as we would like to be able to be like, you know, Superman, I have to keep my day reasonable because I want to do this, but I also have this other, you know, these other things that I'm doing, right? So in other words, what I'm getting at, I want to be realistic.
Yeah.
And so I have to do what is manageable for me.
Yeah. And that's that what is your time worth video.
Okay.
And this is why you find your niche.
Yeah.
Don't
So,
dabble here, dabble here, dabble here, dabble here, halfway try this, maybe try this for a month, because none of them are going to work.
You won't be able to finish anything.
Exactly.
We
you
know it's going to be at least 6 months, so.
Well, and that's if you make all the calls. Your average agent will only call 2 to 3 times total, and never after a month. You know, your average lead is like, oh, we're 3 to 6 months out. Your average lead will get forgotten after a month.
Okay, I do understand the pipeline because my son-in-law worked for a mortgage company and fed me hot pre-qualified. So he's the one that taught me about a pipeline because they were contacts that he nurtured. And he explained. They were doing it in Excel at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he explained to me that how he marked them hot or cold.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of know what a pipeline is through that.
And that's when once you're actually making your contacts, that's what you'll be able to do inside, is doing the labels.
Oh, I'm going to do it inside.
Well, you have hot, cold, warm.
Real geeks.
Yeah, you have those labels for your leads too. So as you make contact, it's perfect. Yeah. So let's say like Elvira, see she's hot.
Right, so go back because,
See, like for example, you
yes,
can
they're
see
wanting to buy right now, and so
Yeah.
hopefully in the next 3 months, we're gonna have.
Elvira?
Yeah,
Is that you?
that's me.
Oh, see, how come that's the
It's
same to me
Elvira
again?
and, it's Elvira and Elvira Smekovic.
Oh, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
this is yours too.
That
Why
is
did
mine.
she- why
I
did she
don't know,
do that?
I
That's
don't
so
know,
weird.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll need to make sure that you're following up. But see how, for example, Rovi and you have marked this. Oh, jeez. Why do I keep doing that? Let me know when it goes away.
Listo para conectar. Action is needed, see? Set up.
Okay, so, here we go. There we go. Okay. So you can see she's listed hot here. This one's listed warm, warm, and you could actually mark whichever one. So when you actually pull them up, right over here, you got status, active, urgency, hot. And you can label these not opt out, warm, cold, and over here you can say time frame. You know, so whatever you list, you can do it, and it helps. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, you kind of walked me through this today, and I appreciate it because I at least got what I did in, and then we had to work on the paperwork today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this one's her tweet, but she hasn't tweeted. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay, so when it comes to your leads, the quick rundown for internet leads, okay? Right off the bat, and Mom, you're probably very familiar with this, and probably you are too. So, you're 1,000 times more likely to make contact in a sale if you call within a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, wow.
1,000 times more likely. Okay? And to put it in perspective,
Catch them while they're looking at the property and be looking at the property.
alright, to put this in perspective, let's say you're holding a lottery, okay? And you have a 1 in a million chance of winning. Okay, $1 million. Okay, that's 1 in a million. Sounds about right? One chance in a million of winning $1 million. Okay, now let's take that to you're 1,000 times more likely, okay,
Wow.
of winning. So that means you, at this point, are 1 in 1,000 times of winning $1 million. As opposed to 1 in a million, now 1 in 1,000. It's a lot better odds. Okay, there's a lot of things you could work it out to 1,000 times more likely. But literally, your 1,000 times it's a hard number to fathom the significance of it. I mean, if you bought 1,000 tickets for $1, knowing that there's a chance you're going to win $1 million, okay? If you 1 in 1,000 of winning $1 million, would you spend $1,000 on tickets, knowing that that was enough? Chances are get you that $1 million.
Yes,
Okay.
and it totally makes sense because they're on the computer.
Yeah.
And that's why those first 5 minutes are so
Okay.
crucial.
Well, that's the next part. So the next one is within 5 minutes. Okay. That will catch them hopefully while they're still at their computer. Okay. If you can catch them within a minute, minute and a half, they're 1,000 times more likely. But no matter what, within 5 minutes, they'll still be at their computer, and you're gonna win. Okay. So that every new lead, that should be the greatest goal possible. If you are willing to drop what you're doing really fast to make that phone call, perfect. Okay. Knowing half the time too, leads show up at 9:30 at night. That's when people are looking. If you're comfortable, go for it. I can't.
She was also in at 6:19 this morning.
There you go.
Now, I don't necessarily call
I
them,
should
but
call her
I
at
immediately
that time.
text and I send an email.
See, exactly. Yeah, we were having that talk too about the phone calls, either pre 7 o'clock in the morning or post 9
After
o'clock
8
at night.
o'clock, yeah.
9 o'clock is the normal.
Probably.
You're definitely allowed up until 9. Even Men's Warehouse had me freaking calling people till 9 o'clock at night. So.
Okay.
Okay, so you have 5 minutes, okay? So that's your first instant, I guess you can say.
Opportunity.
Now,
So what does it reduce the percentage?
well, here's where afterward, now you're just trying to narrow it down because they didn't answer for one reason or another. So this is where your first call, right?
Is the most important.
Okay, but now where's the next 5 in the week going to come from? And keep in mind, these are just to make contact. If you made contact on that first, go accordingly. If they're saying they're 3 months out, plan accordingly. 6 months, year, use it accordingly, okay? But chances are they're not going to answer here. You know, the best chance is this one right here, okay? But if they don't, you have your 5 minutes. So this is where you're going to do your next 5 of the week. So you might call later on at night, then you have morning, then you have like a weekend. You know, just differ it up because you don't know. They may work mornings, they may work evenings, they may work at night. Who knows? They may be sleeping all day. You know, so that's where we just vary it up and do the 6 calls throughout the rest of the week. All right, and then if you still don't make contact, you have 3 more weeks of 2 calls a week. Oops. Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm gonna say, we're gonna work on dialogues, right? Because I don't wanna,
That's where practice and practice. and
that's what I
practice.
need.
You're by the
'Cause I don't
1,000th
wanna-
phone
I don't
call.
wanna say, come on now.
That's
I'm
it.
tired of your voicemail. I don't wanna go there.
And you'll
So
develop
I
your
do want-
skills too. Yep.
Well, yeah, I got style, I wouldn't be that rude ever. But
There's-
I will get tired of leaving messages if I don't get anything back, so I do need a little bit of dialogue direction.
Yep. Yeah, and you'll create your spiel that is good for you depending on the types of leads you're working with, where they're at in the line, et cetera, et cetera.
Right, it has to be designed towards them.
and your personality and stuff like that. Yeah, and practice. It took me. It will literally take just about everybody about, Mom, what was it for you before you truly felt even remotely comfortable calling people?
Oh, I'm gonna say like a good 6 months, maybe even longer, because I feel like every day I'm still learning.
Yeah. But when it comes to at least 500 to 1,000 phone calls, the first 100, you just have to expect are gonna, if you make something good, yay. It's one of those things.
Right, there's a trial and error thing.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna hurt you trying and erring.
Exactly, and that's
Okay.
that's why they're leads. They're a little more than a dime a dozen, but they are that prevalent. If you screw up one of our leads, it's not like it's going to break us. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just don't say anything racist or anything crazy.
Oh, come on.
What's the possibility?
You're funny.
What's the possibility? Because I think you say, because sometimes I'm not sure if what I'm saying is working. And so I'll try it for, like, say, for the week, and then the next week I'll tweak it a little bit different. And if I start getting responses, then I know that how I tweaked it is better than what I did here. Would that be a good thought, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
I mean, if people are responding better, that's an indicator it's working.
So
Yeah.
I tweak it to see if I can tap into it.
Yeah,
You
and she
kind of-
also edited me because I went on a little too much.
We do. A lot of us do.
Well, when I
Sometimes
stopped yelling at people, that
I
helped a
just
lot.
threw in an Arizona fact.
But it's
Game
good,
changer.
but it's good information. But what I love is that's information that you're gonna use.
That I'll be speaking to her about
Yeah.
instead.
It's one of the you're gonna find on a lot of these calls. It's just mastering the questions. You're gonna have about 7 or 8 questions that you're gonna be able to fall back on, no matter what, that are gonna get them talking. And once you get them talking, that's it. You just keep them going.
What are
You know?
they?
For example, whenever they see a home, right? Would you like to see this home? And they'll be like, no, either yay or no, we're just looking. Oh, you're just looking, that's fantastic. Repeat and reaffirm, always. You're just looking, that's fantastic. When are you looking to be in your new home by? And then they'll be like, oh, well, we're looking about 3 to 6 months out. Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. Okay, 3 to 6 months out. So, what kind of home are you hoping to be in? Tell me more about your dream home. Different, something like that.
Right.
Oh yeah, well we're looking for at least 2,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, blah blah blah. Oh great. So are you looking to be in a certain part of town? Do you have kids, schools? There's a lot of reasons people want to be where they want to be. Is a work thing, a retirement thing, a friend thing, a school thing.
They don't always know how to tell you, so you just ask them all that stuff.
Yeah. But you're always just repeating and reaffirming.
And it's always
I
done
don't
in
know,
such
I
a
always
way
know how
to
to ask
generate
stuff to find it
information.
out.
Yeah.
We always, for some reason, agents want to know, and we want to already have all the information as opposed to asking.
Right.
Yeah.
That is something that I'm learning.
Yeah, that's one of the you'll hear a lot repeated that we are not the experts. We are the experts in the transaction.
Right.
We're the experts that know the experts. I'm not a roofer, but I know a lot of them. I'm not a roofer, but I'm not an AC guy, but I know an AC.
But I know a lot of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not a landscaper, but I can find out what the tree is. Yeah,
Yeah.
So I can't tell you how many times I was asked about a jacaranda tree before I finally remembered what a jacaranda is.
Oh, okay. I'm not a robot, but I know, oh, that won't help here.
I'm not just a member. Okay, so we got internet. Yes, okay. So you've got your first to make contact, and then you're just going to develop your plan to keep in contact, okay? People have I don't know the best way to put this. Okay, 5 seconds, name off as many brands of soft drinks as possible. Ready, go.
Coke, Pepsi, Fanta, wow, those are the top ones I see all the
Okay.
time.
There you go. Okay, car manufacturers or brands, go.
You got Ford, you have Toyota, you have Nissan, you have Mercedes, you have Lincoln, you have...
There you go. So most people can name off 3 to 5 brands right off the top of their head pretty quickly, right?
They're the ones you see everywhere.
And that's what you want to be over here, okay? When the time's right, you just want to be that person, okay? So when it comes to people you know, the big battle is to be the Maryland, the realtor. the Charlotte, the realtor, not Charlotte the nurse, not Charlotte the church person, not the pastor's wife, the realtor. And you want to get those referrals. So over here, the magic number is twice a month in some way, shape, or form, okay? How we typically do that is we set up a portal for everybody, okay? Anybody that comes to our website automatically gets the updates from the website. Those are cheap, generic ones. Who knows how they figure out that's what they do, okay? We want to set up a portal for them, using whatever information we can.
I know the portal is, I'll teach you.
Given we can get them on our website and the MLS, that will get them off of every other website. They don't need Realtor, Zillow, Trulia, none of that. The portal and our website, okay? And that's the goal there. Get them out of that world and into ours, where all they see is your face and your name everywhere.
Here's an example. I went to MLS and took Shanie's favorites that she marked favorites, and I sent her an email from there, and I said, "Hi, Shanie." Oh, Miss Bowery, Shanie.
If that is your real
The,
name.
the two favorites that you, thank you for using our website for searching. The two favorites that you marked are still available. Would you like to see them after work or on Saturday? Because I have Mother's Day off. A little friendly stuff. And then I said, I made her the offer, gave her two options. Oh, and said, I can set up an automatic email or portal for you. This is the MLS database. It would save you a lot of time online because it will update you on new properties. And then I said, you know, if you'd like to, and then I went in here and sent her an email that said, hey, I just sent you something from the MLS.
Yeah.
Let me know if you like it. Let's do a meet and greet.
Yeah, you're gonna find your spiel. I think that's is that Mom's?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're gonna find your spiel over time because you're sending those in the MLS was perfect because then you could see that they're active and truly get her going there. Now, when it comes to the portal, like via what she did a lot of searching, and we were able to get a pretty good idea of the zip codes, the area she was looking, the price points of the homes, the size of the homes she was looking for. Like she looked at enough that we could actually set up a legit portal, and we could always say, hey, if you need us to tweak it, go. We'll gladly edit it. You're going to learn that there's a lot of reasons to use the portal, not other websites. Okay, and you're going to be able to sell the crap out of the MLS because
I was going to say, first hit him with that, and then hit him with this, and make them come together.
Yeah.
I like it. Thank you.
So, every other website gets their information from the MLS. No other websites is regulated.
I have not. I didn't use Messenger on Facebook because I heard so many negative things about being able to be hacked, and I'm old and I think like that. But I think I'm going to have to allow it now because I want to hit up Shanie. She has to be my friend before I...
To an extent. If you're willing to go that extra, you're going the extra. I will not frown on you for doing the text, email, and your call. That is the basic.
Right.
But if you're willing to try to do that extra bit, go for it. Yeah, nothing bad to be had from that. No. Okay? So,
just wanted to make sure it's okay.
Yeah, and keep us updated on how it's working.
Because she contacted us first.
Yeah.
That's why I have.
Yeah, they gave us. They literally signed in using Facebook, and that's why we have it. Okay, so they chose to give us that information.
Right. So if I know one of her friends, I can find out where she lives and do a drop by. No, I'm not gonna haunt her.
So okay, so yeah, that kind of took us right up to the end of it. So you have your when it comes to your follow-ups with your internet leads then, okay? Try to set up a portal. They have the MLS, they have our website updates as well, okay? So you have the ones that we set up in the portal, you have the email ones, and then you have your one or two calls a month, followed by 1 or 2 calls of text, and then followed by whatever kind of drip campaign you might have set up, okay? Emails are a dime a dozen, and they're the least effective things we do today, okay? That's why I try to spend as little time on them as possible. If you can create,
I like yours.
well, figure your journey, right? Your average person is 6 to 12 months out, okay? So figure you're gonna make about 18 emails, or 24, that take them through this journey, okay? So the very first one, and remember the kind of the 3 different angles we were looking at. You have your seller who's looking to sell, which they need their own messages, because obviously. Then you have your person who inquired about a home, who may or may not, we might not have any other information to go off of other than that they liked this home and inquired about it. And then you have her, who came to our website, comes back to our website, is looking at a bunch of homes, and we are here to help her in this process.
And has an idea of what she's looking for.
Interested party.
Exactly. They're the hardest because they're all over the board. They're looking at 100 different homes, who knows what their timeline is, and we don't know these people, right? If they inquire about a home, we actually have, hey, thank you for checking out Bird Street. That is a gorgeous home. Are you free tomorrow to take a look at it? See, even though it doesn't seem like much, we have something solid to go off of.
Much more specific.
Oh, we're just looking. Oh, that's fantastic. You're just, see, it always works out this way, right? On the flip side, you have somebody who came to our website 4 different times, is looking at homes in Goodyear, Glendale, and North Phoenix from 500,000 to 200,000. And it's like, okay, so this is what we have to work with. Okay.
Big range.
Yeah, and then you're trying to build rapport off that.
Yeah,
That's
you
your
want to ask
ask.
them, what do you really like the most about all of these?
Yeah. Is that FaceTime? Or,
That's not me.
That's your phone.
oh,
That's
That
me?
was your phone?
Yeah, that was your phone.
I've never heard your phone ring like that.
Before.
That's a strange ringer.
Oh, you know what it was?
What?
I bet Vanessa called me on Duo.
Oh.
Oh, dude, that's what, I knew I recognized that ring. I knew it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
But we don't use it much.
I
Yeah,
can
me too.
talk
It's
to
not
my
good perception.
granddaughter. Those are my granddaughters. I
It's
can
the
talk
only
to
thing that
her
works, like, if they have
like
Apple
FaceTime.
and
Oh,
Google.
Oh,
It
it
allows-
Well,
goes between the
she
two.
called, but I didn't
Okay.
answer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Honey,
Yeah, any of
That
my
was a
clients
cool
that
ring. That was a
have-
cool ring.
iPhones, that's what we use to video. Like if I'm walking through homes and stuff, that's what we use.
I have a photo that I just set my phone next to facing. Duo.
He's got the good statue
Duo.
going on. Okay, so that was basically the summation of the internet leads on that level. Taking them on that journey. So the first one might be thank you very much for using our website and letting them know. I try to tweak it where I only have to edit 2, maybe 3 things to really personalize that email. So, hey, thank you very much for using our website, www.breakthroughrealestateaz.com. It means a lot to be your
That's just a
go-to website.
template, right?
Yep. The reason I say the website is because whenever you send an email or a text, it'll turn into a live link that people can click on and come right back to our website. Most people don't know what website they went to, honestly. You saw when we went through there, it's just, you don't know if it's Redfin or Zillow or Trulia, it's
But
just
in the
Homes for Sale and
email,
Surprise or whatever, you
Yeah,
know?
the email, it's highlighted,
So-
they can just click on it.
Exactly, and it tells them to come back, basically. It makes it really easy for them to, okay? So whenever somebody comes to our website, I always start off with, thank you very much for using our website, blah, 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 right? And then from there, I try to hit wherever they're at. You're looking at homes in Surprise. I specialize in the Surprise area, right? So basically I say, hey, Brenda, or whatever, and then I just tweak out the city. You're looking in Phoenix, I'm the Phoenix expert. You know, I specialize in that area, you know, whatever it might be. And then if you see anything you like, I light a fire. Quick and easy, right? Our market's hopping. The moment you see anything you like, don't hesitate to give me a call or write. I would love to show you or answer any of your questions. The early bird gets the worm, thank you very much. You know, something like that, right? Just light a little fire and entice them to come call you to, you know, do that. Then the next message. Thank you very much for continuing to use our website. It means a lot to be your go-to person. Have you seen anything you like? You know, 1 or 2 questions to try to bring it out. Don't overwhelm it. You know, don't give them like a whole thing. We always, it's hard. You know, piecing up. I always equate it to this sermon. You know, you could throw the Bible at somebody and boom, hit them with it. Or pastors can teach you about the same book for 50 years.
Yeah, they can read from it and tell you what it means.
And here's two verses, here's 2 verses, here's 2 verses, and you bite your way, you just eat your way through it, one chunk at a time, right? That's what we need to do as agents, because we know it's a 6-month process.
Yeah, kind of break it down a little bit, you have a timeline.
Yeah, exactly, right? So the second message, you specialize in this area, what's your timeline, whatnot. The third message, it can be like, I know that the average person is 3 to 6 months out. I'm here for you the entire way. No pressure, just know that I'm here. That type of thing.
Letting them know you have the time too.
Yep. I'll be here when you're ready. That's one of the other things, and I pride myself on that. It's like, you're 2 years out, I will be here.
That's an important one.
Yeah.
Very true, very true.
Yep. So think of your message, and you're going to fine tune it your way. My verbiage may or may not work the best for you, but a variation of it probably will. That is you. Everybody knows my thing. How do I start and end almost every single message?
Have a wonderful day.
Yeah.
Or looking forward to, hearing from you.
Thank you.
Or-
Talk to you soon.
Yes.
Didn't you say we would do role playing as agents too?
We will do that.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Good.
So perfect. Yeah, that's the getting your basics parts of your niches set up, and then the final part would be doing something you love, which we didn't even really get into.
Which we haven't yet, which is our niche, and it's coming to me in so many millions of ways. Because I haven't bought my URLs yet. I'll need Michelle's help in figuring that out. She knows how to do it.
Well, if you haven't done it yet, just go to GoDaddy and experiment. Type in some stuff.
Research.
GoDaddy makes it very easy and fun to. Did we do this the other night? Did I actually log into that or no?
I don't think so.
GoDaddy right off the bat allows you just to search. So find your perfect domain name, right? So Maryland's Mansions.com.
Pagan.
Darn.
Maybe it could be
Say Marilyn Monroe.
Who knows?
No, that was Manson, the horrible singer.
There you go.
You didn't know, Charlotte.
Maryland Mansions
Yeah.
is available.
Oh, I like that.
Yep. Maryland moves the masses.
Moves the masses. You're
available.
fun. Okay, so I'll do this.
Yeah.
I got
See,
really
it's only
Like
$2.99.
$2.99 for 2 years.
See, they're really
Yeah.
affordable. And
I
that's all you're buying.
can afford to do this, but I just
Yeah.
have to make it.
Or they'll even have
Smart,
other
yeah.
suggestions if you want.
Is it, forgive me, L-I-N?
Yes.
Yeah. Common spelling. Yeah.
There you go, your name's available. That's not very common.
Buy it!
Yeah, just put it.